Damn.
Welcome guys. In today's video I'm going to show you and demonstrate you how to level up to 90 in one day. Every segment in the video with my personal calculation will be in the video description below, covered with timestamps for easy access. Now let's explain as fast as I can how I level up to 90 in one day. Alright guys, so we are going to use blighted maps for the job. Now, before we go through any specifics, I wanted to show you some couple of links. Now, the both links will be in the video description below, like all my calculations that I'm going to show in a moment. You have to understand what level the mobs are in specific tiers, so you're able to gather as much as possible experience. As we can see, this is a perfect graph that shows you if you stick it to the yellow line, you're gonna gather as much as possible experience. Now, my level that I started the whole experiment was level 65. Now pay close attention to this graph over here, because we're at this bracket range, because I started from 65, every single map that I'm gonna encounter that is 7 levels above and 7 levels below, I'll be able to gather 100% experience, or on the other hand, I'm gonna be into this yellow bracket range. Now, this is more easier than it sounds. It's pretty much straightforward. The whole point here is that I've been making a calculations how you can gather as much as possible experience and do this at fullest. Now, if you start at level 65 as I did, your first map needs to be tier 5 in order to gather as much as possible experience from that particular map. Now, because you're gonna get a couple of multiple levels from this map, depends of which level you end up to be, you can go to that tier. For example, if from that particular map you manage to go to level 70, which is technically possible, your next map should be tier 10 for the maximum results. Now, this graph will be into the video description below, so you're able to check it. The next graph is how I did. Well, this is my safest method. My build was not very good, so I needed to do it in the safe way. As you can see, for my first map, I gathered 3 levels, and so on and so on. Now pay attention that from level 86 to 87 you need just 2 maps from tier 11 to tier 13 in order to gather a level. This is the same story as level 87 and to 88. Now from 88 to 90 it's a little bit different story. It's gonna take you 5 to 6 tier 11 to tier 13 maps like I did, and basically I just level till 90 less than 30 maps. The good part about this exact experiment is that every single map will take you 4 to 10 minutes average per map. For me personally, it took me from 6 to 8 minutes to gather the whole map, which is respectably fine. Now let's jump to the next segment, which is another graph. We can see that I can boost my experience gaining by 15% by equipping these 2 beautiful weapons, which is going to be in the description below, this helmet and these 2 rings. All of them combined, it's providing me with 15% bonus experience gaining. Now the next thing that's going to boost my experience gaining is annoying maps with vendant oil. This with 3 vendant oil will give us 135% increased experience. Combined with my equipment, it will be 150% more experience. On the other hand, 1.5 times more experience to the average player who is completing maps for like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and he's gathering no experience. Now, before you start the whole fiesta, make sure that you can have as much as possible fire, cold, and lightning resistances. If you cap them, this is the best. Make sure that you can have at least 2.5k HP or energy shield, because you have to understand that no matter how easy these blighted encounters are, if you know what you're doing, they still can shot you with something randomly and kill you. It's very annoying. So make sure that you can have HP. Some physical damage reduction, it's most welcome as well, because most of the attacks that are gonna hit you are physical. Minimum of 15k DPS. If you have less than 15k, just run lower tier maps from the graph that I show the link below, or just gather better knowledge of the blighted tower so they can do your job basically. It's good to have DPS because some of the mobs you need to kill them, otherwise it's becoming difficult. So if you have a lot of DPS, it's gonna be greater for you. If you're low, if you don't have a lot of DPS, I'm gonna show you later on in the video how easy it is to stun lock the monsters in this map so they're not able to move. Now, let's start with the crafting of this map so I can explain you which mods that you are supposed to avoid and what mods to look for. Now, the first thing first that I'm doing, it's always chisel my map to 20 quantity. The next thing is annoy it with the blight oils, and it's very important to chisel it first before you alchemy it, because other way you need to spend 20 chisels to actually gather 20 quantity. Why you're making it rare is because of monster pack size. The more monster pack size you have into the map, the more monsters are going to be spawned, and also we're looking for specific elements in these maps that can help us out leveling up a little bit more faster. Now in this particular map, the thing that is pretty decent is more magic monsters. We know that a magic monster gives more experience than a normal monster, and we know that the rare monster give a lot of experience, so if you encounter some map with more magic and more rare monsters, this is very huge plus. Now this is one of the mods that you have to avoid on 100%, which says monster deal % extra physical damage as lightning damage. This is very bad, and if you're low HP they can easily one-shot you. Just run away from this mode, that's for sure. So I spent more chaos orbs and I was not able to find them, but here is another graph. Just make sure to avoid any stun immunity, slow immunity, or action speed cannot be moved below base value, and of course increase mobs movement speed. This is the most important ones that you need to avoid, and please look for as much as possible pack size, more rare and more magic monsters. This is what you need to look for in your maps in order to gather as much as possible experience. Alright guys, it's time to show you how to do those blight maps super easy. Now tip number one, make sure that your portal is not in the way of the battle, because if he's on the way on the battle, that means that you accidentally can click the portal. It's very frustrating. Now as you can see, every single one of those chests, or most of them, are guarded by specific monster type. You for example have a fire tower. Fire Tower is not able to do any damage to the fire mobs coming from the chest that spawned fire type monsters. So on short, you have to understand that you need to find the choke point of every single map. Once you identify those choke points, you have to build slow and stun tower, as well as a freezing tower. Combine those three effects, the monsters that coming up from these particular chests or portals, they're not able to move, which means that it's going to give you more time, and it's going to give you more time to build up towers that can do damage, and you can deal with these particular maps very easy. Now what will happen if most of the towers are immune from physical and cold? Well, the point here is that if most of the portals are immune from cold, you can include two physical towers, one upgraded to slow the enemies, and the second one, or even two more towers that can stun enemies in place. Now, the physical tower upgraded to tier 3 will stun mobs wherever it hits, and physical tower upgraded on tier 4 as a slow will slow the monsters. So you'll make sure that you can keep them in one place. It's very effective. Now you have to also pay attention how far you are building those towers, because if you go too far away from the towers, they will be not functional, which means that the monster that's coming up from the portals is gonna stray past by them. So you need to make sure that wherever you stay close to your main objective that you're defending, all of your towers can be active and doing their job. If you're too far away from the towers, they'll stop doing their job. What I usually do around my main objective is placing as much as possible damage dealing towers. This could be fire tower, this can be electrical tower, it can be minion tower with the bots around the tower. It's everything, it's up to you. It's very important that you can build up as much as possible damage towers after you defend the choke points. Sometimes you have to do it at the same time. You have to build up towers that deal damage and also ones that freeze and stun. But at low level tier maps, you will be able to experience this better because the monsters are not that hard, so you can see which one works and which one doesn't. Alright guys, we are at the end of the video. I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, like button, notification bell so you don't miss any interactive videos from my side. I have a lot of interesting videos that is coming up sooner or later. I really hope this really much help you out how to speed up your leveling process. And hey, see you in the next video. Stay safe.